Adam Cole, MJF, it's going to happen. It's been confirmed by the world champion himself. It's just a matter of time as to we know in the logistics of where this match is happening and if the title is going to be on the line. It's your boy Mekz, the WrestleManiac, if you will, reporting for Revolution Radio Duty alongside my co-host.
Yo, people, it's your boy NK, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. Yeah, man. We're in for an interesting episode of Revolution Radio for sure.
Yeah. It was what did you think of the overall show yesterday?
I thought Dynamite was a good show. I thought it was a really good show. Obviously there wasn't much to do with Forbidden Door. I didn't expect that yet. But a lot of progressions of storylines for sure. Like this felt like a very story heavy show. We got some good matches as well though. But story focused show for sure.
With Forbidden Door being 3 weeks out at this point, when do you think they should start emphasizing that a bit more then?
Probably because obviously I think probably starting from next week, and now that they've got Collision as well, I feel like there's more time to build to the show because you've got now two shows, two mainstay shows where obviously talent from Collision are going to be on Forbidden Door 2. So I'll probably say end of next week. I don't even think next week's Dynamite is going to be a Forbidden Door board. I feel like that week's Saturday, that week's Collision show is going to be when we start building to Forbidden Door. But Forbidden Door builds don't need much really. You just need someone to show up, come out, announce a match, because we're not going to get promo time between these talent unless it's two Gaijins. Like Omega and Osprey, unless it's two people who speak English, we're not going to get a lot to build. But yeah, I expect maybe next week or at latest the week after. But yeah.
Okay. I personally wanted to see them try to do a bit more build, do something a bit more different, I guess, from what they did last year, where it felt a bit slapdash, and then obviously we had hella injuries and stuff anyway. But obviously you raise a good point of, just promo time between the two.
And also this time of the years, I think when I said last year, I think I wanted them to change the time of Forbidden Door. This is kind of why, but because of the schedule that New Japan and AEW are on, like New Japan have that All Together show that's coming up like literally during the weekend, so they need all hands on deck for that because that's like a big celebration of Japanese wrestling. And then coming straight from Double or Nothing, it's like the time period's never good for like these elongated builds, because like you've got to build towards Double or Nothing, then New Japan got built to Dominion, and then from Dominion onwards you've got like 2-3 weeks, and then now they've got this All Together show in Japan that New Japan have to build to. We're never gonna get that time to like have these like really long builds or like these really intense builds. It's just always gonna have to be like slapdash together because of the schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a New Japan dictating the schedule and how this goes and where this can fit in more so than AEW. But yeah, it's good. It's good times. The two matches that have been announced for that card are, some very special matches, and probably get away with and slap in. I think we were saying on the podcast yesterday that you guys obviously see this week. They can probably get away with filling the rest of the card with pretty much tag matches and stuff now, because the bangers we have, will more than carry it. So yeah, it's interesting times. But obviously we're here today to talk Dynamite. There were some really good points of Dynamite today that we'll discuss. We'll start off with the world title. MJF came out to the ring. MJF was basically running down Colorado saying, that's it, there's no other good competition, he's the best, generational talent, etc., etc., etc. Until the call was basically answered by Adam Cole. So Adam Cole answers, MJF went on and on. At this point, Adam Cole hadn't even had a mic in his hand. He said, I used to love Adam Cole. He paid homage to how great he was. He's been world champion everywhere, undisputed era, just absolutely fantastic in every aspect, a legend. He wanted to be like him after CM Punk let him down, which was a great line as well. He went on to then turn it to an MJF promo in regards to disrespecting him, saying that, but you're a gamer boy, your body can't handle this. He went on to basically run jokes on him in regards to the carrying cross line, which was absolutely fantastic in regards to, the famous Adam Cole saying, they give you all the bells and whistles and the girl and this, that, and the other, and they just ring the bell when they want me to kind of show up. And MJF basically flipped that on him, more or less verbatim, just dissed it to Adam Cole, how Adam Cole said it to Karrion Kross back in the day, which was pretty good. MJF made reference to Vince McMahon, like a certain old leader of that show over there and all that kind of stuff. Didn't see much in you, didn't think you could be a top guy, didn't you think you could be a world champion. I tend to kind of agree with him right now. Adam Cole took it all in his stride, came back, and it wasn't kind of like a fiery, like the promos that he was cutting against Chris Jericho not too long ago in that feud. It was very much like, I'm dealing with a child at this point. Very relaxed, dished it back to MJF, made reference to MJF juicing or taking steroids or basically mocked him, called him a douchebag, and effectively kind of goaded him into having a match with him. I guess kind of poking at ego, if you like. And MJF said, "Yeah, that's fine. So here we are. Is for me, like, I thought we would get this. This is far earlier than I thought we would get it, and I assume the world will be on the line. Again, there's no real telling right now where this match is actually going to be.
Oh, it's happening next week,
huh?
So yeah, it's happening next week. Title eliminator.
It's not a world title match.
No, it's a title eliminator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. What's your thoughts on? I mean, the segment I think was brilliant. This was it was an MJF, another one that goes in the vault, another great promo, and a different kind of one. It wasn't just him running down the crowd and running someone down. It was a bit of a back and forth. What did you think about it? The segment?
I thought the segment was gonna start with was gonna probably be him announcing his Forbidden Door opponent. That's what I thought it was going, but apparently not. And then Adam Cole came out, and I was like, I expected this to happen, but I expect this to happen like maybe full gear All In times, like later on in the year. But the promo segment was good. I wasn't blown away, to be honest. Obviously it's MJF and he goes for low hanging fruit all the time, but it was like, it was good. It was good, but I wasn't like blown away. And even Adam Cole's rebuttals, they were like good, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just because the last time I remember MJF having a real back and forth with someone was CM Punk in it. So maybe I'm just comparing it to those standards where it was just like, yeah, that's like gold. But I'm excited for this program. Them announcing an eliminator match next week is interesting. MJF has to lose that surely, but because if you're gonna build a feud between the two, it's like you gotta like build Adam Cole's credibility and just like I don't know, but
you think Adam Cole's going to beat the champion on Dynamite?
I don't know. Because the thing is, it's an eliminator match, and the thing is, we haven't added any like stakes to these eliminator matches before. So it's like, what if Adam Cole loses an eliminator match? What claim does he have to like actually challenge MJF unless they do? Because none of them are in a faction, so I don't see like it being a situation where somebody interferes on their behalf or anything like that. So it's like I don't know how we're gonna get to a title match exactly, but I don't know. But then again, pinning MJF right now, I don't know. It's difficult, but they've done an eliminator match, and at some point, I want someone to actually win the eliminator match to get the title shot.
Of course,
like,
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I feel like I mean I didn't even know the match was this week coming. I thought
Yeah,
this was something they're going to still set up for time, and that's why I didn't quite have the bearings because it's like obviously Forbidden Door is like interpromotional, so they're not gonna fight at Forbidden Door surely. And then after that, I guess we're waiting to London. Or All
yeah,
Out, or whatever the case is. So I thought a bit early to start it, but okay. And even so, like you're saying, if they have the eliminator match next Wednesday, like win, lose, whatever the result, like where are we going with this? Or are we literally
yeah.
just starting what is going to be the long-term feud that Adam Cole may be triumphing over MJF later this year? Are we just starting it now, basically?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea because now it's weird because I wouldn't have minded like the promo segment now and then that MJF like does something in between for Forbidden Door and they come back to it like at the Dynamite right after. But now that they've announced the Eliminator match, it throws. I don't know. Like I'm very interested to see where they go with this. Like this is gonna be. I don't think this feud is not one and done. Like this feud will go on for a while, and these two have like the ability to be cutting promos against each other for weeks on end. But yeah, I have no idea like how we get there.
Yeah.
But the only thing I see is that MJF cheating to win as usual. But then what makes I don't know, they have to do it in a way that entitles Adam Cole to a rematch because MJF has cheated every match, title match he's had, and no one else has got a rematch. So why is Adam Cole different? But
Gonna get one, yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see. Well, I'm very intrigued though. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've said in the past that there's a list of guys that could obviously beat MJF for this
Mhm.
title. At the same time, some of those guys have already been champions, and I think we more or less whittled down that if we're talking about a new champion that's never been champion before, we're probably looking at one Adam Cole or a
Mhm.
Darby Allin.
Yeah.
You can't really fathom anyone else that hasn't been champion already to triumph over MJF, especially when it comes to if they're going to tell this story later on in the year that he's still champion, he's running down his contract, who's going to basically save AEW. At this point, you can obviously see that Adam Cole's highly favored by TK. Darby is an absolute fan favorite, so it would be someone of that ilk. Omega could step in and be very
Yeah.
believable as well in that situation. But it depends if they're going to tell that story.
Yeah. I think Punk is gonna be the match at All Out. I think that's the match. They're gonna revisit it. I feel
Yeah,
like that's the match. But
it's
I
all
see
out Chicago.
Chicago.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's where they usually do it anyway. But yeah,
Yeah, all out's gonna be Chicago. So I thought I see them revisiting Punk. He won't win. He shouldn't win, but he
he
won't win.
shouldn't win.
But yeah, I see them revisiting that because they had the whole like MJF's return, if you remember, was like at the end of the Punk Moxley match, and they haven't resolved that. There's still
Mm,
stuff in that storyline that they need to resolve in it. But in regards to Adam Cole, I have no idea. A part of me is thinking that will they essentially scrap like the interpromotional title match at Forbidden Door and just make this a title match? Because I don't want them to. I think that's lazy.
mm.
But MJF is in character and says that MJF says I don't have no interest in wrestling New Japan guys. But I don't know. Because obviously last year they did it with the women where the women's championship was two AW stars because obviously they didn't have the work relationship
Yeah.
with Stardom.
Mm.
So I mean, technically they can get away with it, but I don't know. And also, I wouldn't want to waste this match on a Forbidden Door where, like, this match should be main event in a pay per view.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
definitely.
because if you put this match on the Forbidden Door, I'm so sorry, it's not main eventing, and that's just
Mm,
because it's Forbidden Door. Like,
mm.
I want a Forbidden Door match, AEW versus New Japan match to main event. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter for the AEW title. Like, it's AEW versus New Japan.
yeah.
That style of match should main event,
Yeah, the best if this was on Forbidden Door, the best they could get is like opening the show or something like that.
which is terrible.
Yeah, which isn't where the title should be as to where MJF
Yeah.
has built it up and stuff like that.
Uh,
I'm all for people saying if you're not main eventing, the next best position is to be opening the show. But I don't think these two particular guys, neither should a world title, but these two particular guys as well can have the kind of match to necessarily open a show. So
I'm only for world titles not main eventing if it's a gimmick match. For example, let's say WWE Hell in a Cell. If there's a Hell in a Cell match that's not a title match, cool. Let that main event. Anarchy in the Arena. Let that, because those matches are hard to follow up in it.
yeah.
But if you've just got a card full of like straight professional wrestling, and there's not like an outlandish gimmick attached, then the title should always main event, in my opinion. But not at Forbidden Door. Well, not these two. If it's MJF versus someone else, I don't know, Shingo or someone, then you have a right to say it deserves a main event. But these two AEW stars, nah.
Yeah, that's not really the point of the entire pay-per-view, is it? So, okay, well, the last thing I'll say on this is I always find it very interesting when MJF is in these stories. You saw this with Punk, obviously. It's very interesting when he's like, for sure, he's the junior person in the program, but with his character, he still has to play up like he is, better than everybody else, as he says. And it's almost like how what we saw last night. It's like his ego gets poked at, and he's like, "Oh, I'll fight you. I'll give you the match." And I'm like, "Huh? You that doesn't like to wrestle, basically. Now you want to fight someone?" It's like when these guys know how to kind of draw him out, basically. It's like, like you get this emotional side to him, and this is where his character, I feel, always is best.
Yeah. Do you know what? You've just reminded me. This feud has legs. I remember why. Because remember the CM Punk and MJF stuff? Yeah, they did like 2 weeks worth of promos together. But then they had a match before, because that feud started around maybe post Full Gear. And they had a match before the end of the year. And then obviously the build-up was to Revolution, which was like months away.
Yeah.
So I see, and like you said, storyline wise, it's kind of like MJF looking up to someone he admired or had a lot of respect for in wrestling. I see them like maybe they're doing the match next week, and then like with the CM Punk thing, there's a reason why they end up having a pay-per-view match months down the line. Like they keep the story going. I don't know how exactly, but I feel like this is gonna follow the CM Punk storyline, where it's going to be a really long storyline. Like it's going to take months, rather, because the Danielson thing was wrapped up within a month for Revolution. 4 Pillars, he was barely even like, it was 3 different people, so he didn't have to be as involved. But this one is going to be like a storyline that takes up a lot of TV time. At least that's what I speculate.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's obviously it's 2 guys we're probably all very interested in seeing, probably invested in seeing. So we'll see how they go with it. Definitely, they shouldn't, blow their casket very quickly and then never look at these 2 again. Like, it almost feels like this is the beginning of a story they may tell over the next 6 months or so. So we'll see how it pans out. We're going to jump back to the start of the show and go through all the matches and the segments. Big up everyone watching live. Hit the like button. If you haven't, subscribe if you're new here to WRESTHINGS. Let's get into it. The AEW International Championship. A title that's exciting us all, really. A title that's causing a lot of conversation right now. I thought this was going to main event because they kind of built up this Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland match, but it was on first, which has become synonymous with the title anyway at this point, so fair enough. For me, this felt like they literally just continued the match from the end of the Battle Royal. Like, there was no building up or like no slow start to this match. These men just went after each other like they owed each other money, or there was some beef or something that we don't know about. Very, very good match. I think it went on for like maybe about 15 minutes or so. A lot of back and forths. I would say this is the one match in a long time Orange Cassidy hasn't necessarily looked like he's been, defending his title week after week after week and looked beaten down. He seemed to have some energy about him. He seemed to have some urgency about him, which at the same time doesn't really mesh with his character, but we've seen him put on these kind of performances before. Swerve was brilliant. There was like a number of times I think he went for the house call, that the kick he does, and missed and stuff like that. And then eventually it was a couple of roll ups. Swerve tried to be smart, tried to grab the tights. Orange Cassidy had rolled out, reversed it, grabbed the tights of Swerve, and got the pin over him. Orange Cassidy retains, and the run goes on, the train goes on, and you know what? Let me speak for myself. I went into this thinking, yes, please, this is Swerve's coronation here, and it didn't happen. And I can't say I'm upset, because the match that these lot gave us was, pretty. It was stellar, a very stellar match that, like every other match has been. And I remember saying that podcast, if this isn't where Swerve wins it, or Orange Cassidy drops it more like God, like what are we gonna do? But I'm still content with this title run. But yeah, now at this point, I don't know who's beating him for it. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, similar. Like I was kind of adamant that Swerve was gonna win, and even the way the match was structured, it was like for example, like Swerve kicking out of the orange punch and the beach break. I was like, oh, we haven't seen that. Like he's winning. Like he's winning. And the match, like I was genuinely tense, like during this match. I think this is the first time during Orange Cassidy's reign where I genuinely thought he has a chance of losing. And that's obviously because obviously Swerve won the Battle Royal. Like they've built to this match like simply but effectively. And obviously coming out of this match, I felt I felt two things. I feel like I'm happy to see Orange Cassidy as champion, but I want them to end the title reign on a high. I'd rather Orange Cassidy lose now than lose later when we're tired. I feel like it would have been. I still think that Swerve should have won because it would have capped off Orange Cassidy's reign with a great match, and we would have just looked back at this title reign as essentially flawless. But I don't want the title reign to drag to the point where it's like, okay, we're tired now, we're ready. Like, title reign should be unsettling. Like when a champion loses, you should feel like, no, I was enjoying it. Like we should feel like rattled and unsettled. And I feel like I still think Swerve is going to take the title off Orange Cassidy, because if you look next week, they've got like a whole best friends versus the Mogul affiliates, the Mogul Embassy match, and I feel like we're gonna get Swerve versus Orange Cassidy 2 or 3. I don't know how many matches they've had, but I feel like Swerve will probably be the one, but they're just delaying it, which I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea, but we'll see in it. We'll see.
Yeah, it's and we know that TK has a way of doing things and maybe delaying things when it just pull the trigger on it. We think it's time, sort of thing. You raise a good point. Let's not start resenting Orange Cassidy. Let's not start resenting the title reign before he loses it, sort of thing. Let's leave it on a high, sort of thing, and be able to reminisce that, oh yeah, greatest. This is already, there's only been 2, but this is the greatest international title run right now. And it's going to take a lot for anyone to triumph over this, because they've booked this. It's been very fun. Cassidy's character obviously helps a lot. The performance level has been great. So yeah, it's intriguing. Again, we spoke on the podcast that it'll be very harsh for Orange Cassidy to drop the title here and then not be on the card for Forbidden Door. Our guy in the bill, in the comments, big up in the bill. He says Cassidy versus Suzuki at Forbidden Door, please.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
It'll be fun. There'll be a lot of humor in it, as well as obviously a very good match, a very stern match. But yeah, I feel like Cassidy, he's earned it. He has to be on that card at this point.
Do you know what? Like, it's not gonna happen. But Cassidy at the Double or Nothing press media scrum, he name dropped Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
and he planted that in my head. And now, obviously, I know they're building on ROH to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Samoa Joe, which is a fine match, which I'm fine with. But then now you've planted Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy in my head, and I'm just like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that. Like, I really want that. But I thought there's a lot of guys in New Japan that could face Orange Cassidy and it be like a compelling match.
Yeah.
So at Forbidden Door, but at the same time as well, and this is kind of why I want to Swerve to win. Swerve at Forbidden Door against any of these New Japan talent would have worked perfectly fine as well.
Yeah.
So, but with Orange Cassidy, I feel like, you know what? But it's funny though. The title did debut at Forbidden Door, and unlikely, but just for the sake of conversation, what if he drops the championship to a talent that's not AEW, that's not in AEW at Forbidden Door?
I would be more happy with that because that is the whole point of the title, or at least that's what they told us the title was going to be. We haven't seen it in Orange reign. I got excited when he put the bag on his back when he started this reign because around with it. And we might get fun little vignettes of him and best friends traveling around, defending his title, pulling the title out of the bag. We didn't get any yet. Instead, we got brilliant matches week to week on Dynamite. Fair enough. But if we could get back to something like Orange Cassidy dropping that title to a New Japan talent, that talent coming to America or going back to Japan at the very least, yeah, that's what differentiates these titles and makes it more interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Since Gabriel, I know he had a match with Gabriel Kidd already, but since Gabriel Kidd's joined Bullet Club, I wouldn't mind part 2 at Forbidden Door. Nah, as a rematch, you know, a newly invigorated Gabriel Kidd Bullet Club member versus Orange Cassidy. I think that would be a fun match. But there's with Forbidden Door, they're spoiled for choice in it. Like a lot of these guys, New Japan's a wrestling company, isn't it? Like all of them are gonna have great matches with Orange Cassidy. So I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah. But Cassidy still champion. He's done very well in this run, and that's probably why, as much as we all thought and wanted Swerve to win at this point, at the same time, don't mind too much. After the match, lights go down, lights go back up. Mogul Embassy basically came in to jump Orange Cassidy. Lights went down, lights came back up. Sting and Darby came in to make the save, so they're setting up something there between those two sides. We had they played the vignette of Danielson in the desert, obviously calling out Okada, confirming that matches happened on Forbidden Door. Then Danielson came out, he joined the commentary team because we were going to have Blackpool Combat Club versus Chaos. This was a fun match. Obviously right now, just Blackpool Combat Club are just running through guys looking like the best trios around, but they ain't got the trios belts, and the trios champions weren't anywhere to be seen. So I'll be interested if they do get round to that confrontation between the champions and BCC. BCC just flogged Chaos and stuff. Rocky Romero had some really nice spots within this match, but wasn't enough. He was the person that tapped out in the end to Moxley's chokehold. Loved Utah continuing the elbows after the match and like just going and like Moxley eventually had like, you know, get off him, like you've done your bit. So they're still working on Utah and developing this kind of crazy character within him. What did you think of this match?
This was excellent. Blackpool Combat Club now is the best it's ever looked. It's better right now. I would say it's better than when they had Regal as their manager. Like I feel like right now, I see it. Even Claudio, I see it now. No, I see it. He's there. I see it now. I see like everyone feels developed. Has evolved. Feels a part of them. That uppercut Claudio gave to Trent, brutal. Brutal. Everyone
off the moonsault, innit?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just feel like Blackpool Combat Club, I feel like they finally evolved. Like everyone feels like they belong in this faction, and this faction has found like its true identity. And they're the best trios team in AEW, and like effortlessly, and it's like this match was I was so happy. Like watching them, I was like, this team right now is crazy. Is Oh, I'm loving Blackpool Combat Club, and I was lukewarm on them. Like after Regal left, like after Regal left, like it was looking. I wouldn't say it was looking dire, but it was looking a bit weird for the faction. But now it's like they're better than ever. They're better than they've ever been. And just like the trios match they had in Japan, the trios match they're having this week, and then they're facing. Obviously, we'll get to what they're doing next week. But hey, man, BCC are here, man. They're here. I love this faction. No more people. I don't want anyone else to join. Well, actually, I do. But Daniel Garcia, but that one is gonna be a 2024 signing because at this point, yeah. But BCC right now, I'm loving everything they do, man. I love it.
I mean, we're no closer. We'll talk, obviously, he had a match on the card. Takeshita, do you think he's just him and Don Callis a different agenda? They're not BCC.
No. Nah, I feel like it's this common saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
It's just a simple situation of like, listen, you don't like Kenny Omega, we don't like Kenny Omega. We're gonna link up right now. I feel like with Takeshita, it's gonna play into a whole different thing. Yeah, I think Takeshita's on and Don Callis are on their own thing. It's just a temporary alliance at this point. Because BCC still look confused. They don't even acknowledge them half of the time. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, these men are here. We're not gonna we beat these guys up already. We're not involved in you lot's family dispute. That's you man's business. We're just here to beat up the elite and beat up guys in the AEW.
Yeah. It's going to be very scary for by the time they put in BCC in front of House of Black. But before that, we've had Hangman Page and the Young Bucks. They were backstage. They called out BCC. Danielson on commentary says, BCC, we don't turn down a fight. We accept. Next week, BCC versus the Hung Bucks.
Oh,
that is going to be mental. That is going to be stupid. Like,
bruv. Like, I sound like Will Ospreay, but like, I can't. What is that? What is that?
That feels like for the culture. Like, let's just give these people this match. Like, there's no real. I mean, these that have been feuding, they could have done this match at any point, but the way they just started to set it up, like, it's just like, oh, let's just do it next week. Like, yeah, it's gonna be mental.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah. And the thing is, again, back to the Forbidden Door thing. Obviously, I feel like next week is probably going to be like the feud will go on hiatus for a bit because obviously we need these guys at Forbidden Door. Like, there's no way you're leaving Moxley, Hangman, the Young Bucks, Claudio off Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
So I feel like that match is kind of going to be like the break in the feud, but then also we still haven't gotten like the answer to the reason why Kenny wasn't on Dynamite last week. Obviously, Hangman said he's not in Canada. We assumed he's in Japan. We still haven't got that part of the story left yet. But at the same time, this is why Forbidden Door, as much as I love it, like I'm all for Forbidden Door, it's very difficult to book, especially when you're doing long-term stories, because like, okay, if Kenny comes back next week, who does he address? Blackpool Combat Club or Ospreay? Yeah. Because he's got two different. But unless they find a clever way to
or Don Callis,
yeah, like yeah. So, but either way, I'm all for it. Whatever avenue they go down, I'm invested in all three. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, some good stuff happening there. And they followed that by giving us the vignette. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, 2 US title, the IWGP US title on the line at Forbidden Door. We talked already about Adam Cole and the MJF segment, which was really good. Following that segment, we had the Hardy stuff, welcoming Ethan Page into the faction, into all of that kind of stuff. And Matt Hardy said basically he's turning Ethan Page to a good guy. Like, he doesn't want you to be a bad guy, or I don't need to be my slave. I want you to be a good guy with ethics. You need to drop the ego, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
This don't deserve to be on TV.
This is Rampage fodder.
This is dark. No, this is dark. This is even worse than Rampage. This is dark. Like, this is you did a whole Hardy compound match, and we're still this is the thing. I just think this is Tony Khan saying, "Oh, I'm paying the Hardys bare money." Oh, listen, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm so sorry. Signing, I'm not gonna say signing the Hardys was a mistake here, but they've served their purpose. They've served their purpose. It's time. It's time to do something else. The problem is, what do you do with them? You don't put them in the tag team division. We're tired. As a trios team,
It's gonna happen.
why? It's I don't know. Even and the thing is, one thing the Hardys have never been are great characters. Sometimes broken Matt Hardy, yes, great. But other than that, they've never been promo guys. They've never been charismatic.
Okay, so you said that basically they've served their purpose. I unfortunately don't think that they've served their purpose yet. I think it's a thing where they're going to become champions at some point, tag team champions, because it's that's them signing off. They've won tag team gold everywhere. Like that has to happen for us. However long or short, I feel that's when they've served their purpose. Part of their purpose was to help them get over younger teams. They haven't really done that, if we're being honest. They've attached themselves to what's these man called? Isaiah Quinn and Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. What's their team called again?
Private Party.
They've attached themselves to them, but then Mark Quinn is always injured. So it's like they haven't really helped them in a sense, and they haven't really done a lot of tag team stuff, even before Mr. Mino.
Yeah.
So,
well, to be fair, when Jeff had his misdemeanor, they were scheduled to win the tag team titles or according to the dirt sheets, but then the madness happened, and then but
so knowing TK, he's gonna circle back round to it, like.
Yeah, but that don't like even back then I wasn't happy. Even back then I wasn't happy with it, but we had at least back then it was like, okay, the euphoria of, oh my god, the Hardys are here. Like, you could have tricked us then. Now it's like, especially now that the tag team division is recovering. We're not in a position where it's like back then, the Young Bucks had a good reign. Swerve and Our Glory were cooking. Like the tag team division was still in a relatively good place. Like it was well renowned for a reason. Now it's like, okay, we're trying to fix the division. I'm gonna fix the division with you, man. I'm so sorry. I will never forget what happened last year when the Young Bucks faced the Hardy Brothers. That was a travesty. That match has been buried in sand. We've forgotten about it for a reason. But if we load up the footage, that match is an example of why they should never touch the title. But logically speaking, they might do it. It's possible. But I don't want them to.
We know TK at this point. And if TK is TKing, this was his plan, so it's going to happen. Maybe they're just waiting for Jeff to kind of prove his health, and
it's a joke thing.
It will happen. So somewhere down the line. But I think at best this is filler for Rampage. Like, but moving on, we had La Faction Ingobernable versus Hook and Jungle Boy. Personally, it feels like a step back for Jungle Boy to be doing up Jungle Hook. Decent match. This was a no DQ match or a tornado tag, was it?
Yeah, tornado tag.
Yeah. I think we saw Jungle Boy use a chair in this match, which was obviously, a bit of character development for them and everything they've been saying around him, and being more violent and all that kind of stuff. So that's very interesting. They got the win with, I think it was a snare trap. Do you think Jungle Boy is turning? He's going to become this more violent guy, maybe turn on the Hook. What do you think is in store here?
I'm not sure. I think a Jungle Boy heel turn is on the way, but I can't lie. I love this match. Like I know I like this match a lot. Do you know who got me in this? Preston Vance. Maybe it was the blood. It was probably 80% the blood, but I can't lie. do you know what it is? I came out of this match saying, do you know what? I don't mind doing Jungle Hook for a bit longer. I'm so sorry. I didn't mind it. I was like, you know what? If they put them in, but no, but under the stipulation of they wrestle hardcore matches, because I feel like bringing the violence out of Hook, I feel like they're not gonna do this. But what I would love them to do is like, okay, they do random tag matches with like different stipulations, so maybe a ladder match next week.
Yeah.
But each week we can see Jungle Boy enjoying it a bit too much.
I think that's
Like,
where they're going.
yeah, like he's like, okay, like he's winning, but then nah, like like he's smiling after the win, but not in a way where it's like I'm I'm loving
Sinister.
this. Yeah. And it's just like, do you know what? No, and do you know what? Week after week, he just takes it a bit further to where Hook's like, hey, bro, relax.
Cool down.
And then finally, Jungle Boy hits him with a chair or something.
Yeah,
That's where I feel like they should go with it. Like, just embrace the Jungle Hook thing for now. Have them have random no DQ matches. And yeah, but I can't lie, this match popped me. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
The match was
fun.
good. The match was good.
This
I
was
think
very
maybe it's
fun.
because it's just kind of still straight out of Double or Nothing. It's still kind of fresh. I felt like, man, like this guy was having a world title bout a couple of weeks ago, and now look at it, and it's like it's not like it's just something they put together. He's literally reverted back to what he was doing before. So yeah, it kind of soured me a bit on that, but that's the booking stuff. That's not anything to do with the match. The match was fine, and like I was saying, I generally think that's exactly where they're going. Each match there will be maybe some type of stipulation match. They'll just keep facing guys. Jungle Boy is just gonna get worse and worse and worse, and then probably turn on Hook. So interesting stuff there with Jungle Boy. We'll see. At least if it's not a turn, it's definitely some character development going on there. We had TK. And it's been a miraculous turnaround for me. I absolutely love these announcements. Give me one every week. Give me
I'm
one
sick
every
of them.
Nah, like, you know what? I just feel like now I think what was maybe annoying me was his posture, him not being able to kind of say it before when they were doing it live. But now it's pre-recorded. I know it still kind of looks a bit very robotic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like he's a GM. Like now he's a GM and he's behaving like a GM. And this one announcement, at least for upcoming shows or something that's happening, like it's good. Like I don't mind it. So yeah, he announced that the main event of Collision, 17th of June on the debut, is going to be Jay White and Juice Robinson and Samoa Joe versus FTR and CM Punk, and in a 6-man tag basically. So pretty good match, I guess, for the main event. We knew FTR pretty much going to be in the corner of CM Punk in whatever he was doing over in Collision. So yeah, let's get it. Let's see how they how this develops. Obviously, FTR are kind of in a program with Bullet Club Gold anyway. So yeah, it kind of all makes sense. We had Back in the Ring, Takeshita, what came out with Don Callis. There's no entrance music, just Don Callis turning on Kenny Omega on the Titron. Takeshita faced a local talent called Damon Ace. Just flogged this guy, squash match basically, beat him in a minute, beat him with a running knee, which I thought at first was that a V-trigger? Like, what are they doing here? But yeah, it was pretty much just a running knee. And again, promo afterwards, Don Callis, chorus of boos from the fans. Don Callis basically said that, the Elite are like a cancer and he plans to cut them out of AEW. Yeah, the heat is still heating. It's still hot.
Yeah. I like the look they have for Takeshita though, like all black. Like I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see where this goes. Like the squash match was necessary. It's good to build Takeshita up as like a dominant force now, because obviously he's lost, but the thing about him losing before, he's lost to like very credible guys like Danielson, Moxley, Hangman, former champion. Yeah, to top guys. But now I think it's time, get him some wins. Maybe not a squash match next week, but you know, against a named talent that we know in it. Like a Fuego del Sol or someone. Yeah,
Oh,
I see.
they could do better than that. Who else is there? Not disrespect to Fuego, but I see what you mean. There's people
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
still names that he could lose to.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
Fuego, to be
The
fair,
only reason I
is
said Fuego because I remember that I've recently just randomly watched the match he had with Miro, and I was like, that was a really good match. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, okay, like obviously, someone like the best friends that we saw on the show,
Yeah,
like he could
sure,
lose to
sure.
he could beat Trent Burrell or someone like that. Like that's
Yeah,
someone a bit more recognized,
yeah,
if you like. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Wherever they go with this is going to be very interesting.
yeah.
Backstage we had Christian Cage with what's that guy's name? Is it Alex Garcia, the backstage guy?
Oh, I think Alex Marvez. I think
Marvez, that's it. Alex Garcia.
Marvez.
That was very racist of me. Yeah, he got a word with Christian Cage, and Christian was basically leaving one on, well, it was Luchasaurus. He left as one on Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson's son, because obviously Arn Anderson got involved in a ladder match where Christian Cage was about to become TNT champion. So they're taking their revenge on Arn Anderson's son backstage. I still want Christian to win the TNT title at this point.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I want. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm all for this feud continuing. I'm all for this feud continuing as long as it results in Christian with the championship. I'm all for it. I'm all for it because I'm so sorry. Like the mileage of Wardlow, we need to cool it down. We need to have him do something else. Christian as TNT champion is money.
Yeah,
it's money.
It's got mileage.
It's got, you could do that for a while.
Luchasaurus as the heater that can run. Like,
it can run. It can run.
Yeah, that could be very good. So yeah, we'll see where they're going with that. Next up, we had a TBS title, the new champion Chris Statlander, going up against Anna Jay. Anna Jay came out with Matt Menard, her fellow JASer. Decent match between the two women. You can see Statlander still kind of not that she looked like she was finding her feet in this match per se, but just kind of getting back into the swing of things. This wasn't as good as her match with Nyla Rose last week, in my opinion. But I guess Anna Jay again is probably a bit younger in her career. I really love Anna Jay just from a character point of view. I think once she maybe gets the wrestling stuff done, under her belt, I feel like Anna Jay could be great. Like,
I'm concerned about her, but yeah.
Really? I think she's a great character. Like,
I think she's a great, I don't know, man. I'm worried about her.
Okay, wait. Let me backtrack. Great character is a stretch. That's definitely a stretch. But I feel like she's got enough in her, like, charisma wise, that once it all comes together, something could really be there. I guess. So what's your worry? What's your worry?
That they're not gonna give her anything. I feel like even her being a part of she's a part of JAS now, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's useless.
Yeah,
it's useless. I feel like they're not, and this is a problem with the women in general. But like with Anna Jay, there's nothing for her to do. I felt like her and Ty Conti should have extended their feud, like them being buddy. I feel like that was something that I was very interested in with Anna Jay, like her and Ty Conti, like them two button heads. But
when did they butt heads?
Was it her and Tay Conti? Like, yeah, I think there was a point in time where like Ty was one of them was the heel and one of them was the baby face.
Oh yeah, Ty was it Ty was the baby face and Anna was trying to turn her, I think.
Maybe, yeah, but the little, like, they never had a feud. Yeah, but like the little friction between them, I like that. I was into that. I don't know, but I feel like that plays to her strength, like the story based stuff in it. But just throwing her out for random open challenges don't do much for me. Like, like have her have just a little personal story. Obviously, Ty Mello's obviously pregnant now, so she won't be on television for a while. So obviously, you can't revisit that. But yeah, I feel like just revisit that. Like, have her have like a personal feud with someone, something that doesn't take up too much TV time, but maybe You know, kind of like how, remember, like even with Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, they had that their little static in the faction of JAS. It wasn't something that was played upon massively on TV, but you could see it in the background. You know, just little things like that.
Yeah, I think it's a crazy one, because even like you're saying, that little stuff she had to take on to you, like even before that pandemic times, Anna Jay was always on TV.
Yeah,
Obviously Dark Order was a thing as well then, but she was always on TV. So it's really been a backward step. Maybe Collision will help in terms of giving her a bit more TV time. And there's obviously still Rampage there, but they have to book stories. You can't just
yeah,
throw her out for matches like you're saying.
yeah. But the main thing I'm concerned about with the TBS title is, why is Taya Valkyrie still involved?
Yeah,
Why? I'm not. Why? Because she's not winning. She's definitely not winning. Because if you do all of this to defeat Jade and you have Taya Valkyrie defeat Statlander, I'll be livid. I'll be livid. But at the same time, you're gonna have Taya Valkyrie lose 3 times in a row. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Maybe
That's
Taya beats
crazy.
Statlander eventually. Maybe she does, and it's a heel turn, like, sort of thing. I can, because people love Statlander, and like you're saying, like Taya gets popped now, like people are happy to see her and everything, but she's actually pulling faces backstage at the TV, like she's not happy. So you know,
Yeah.
it could be
But at the same,
it could be at
yeah.
least a way to tell a story around the TBS title.
Yeah, but my issue is that I wouldn't mind this if like Statlander had defeated like any TBS channel, but it's Jade, and I feel like the protection of undefeated streaks happens after the streak as well. Like the person who defeats the undefeated person should almost like inherit that aura that the undefeated person had,
Yeah,
where it's, okay, like I defeated the big bad, I defeated the boss battle, I defeated the big boss. I should look near untouchable for a while. And especially now with Taya Valkyrie, it's like, so what? The person who lost twice to Jade is now gonna come defeat the person who defeated Jade. I
yeah,
don't know, man. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
But also, I have to be honest, with I'm not the biggest Taya Valkyrie fan, anyways. So
Mm,
maybe that's kind of fueling my pushback.
yeah.
But yeah, man.
No,
I don't know.
you make a good point. I think I'm just happy seeing Statlander do something a bit different with this title, have a bit,
Yeah,
longer matches, more quality matches.
yeah,
She put away Anna Jay with a power driver, which I absolutely loved, because the power driver is another one of these moves that's been absolutely bastardized in wrestling. Like, man are
for sure.
getting up from power drivers. Like, yeah, I was happy to see that. We had the Outcasts backstage. Tony Storm. There's going to be a full match on Rampage, and basically the winner's going to face Tony Storm. Britt Baker is in that match, so don't be surprised if Britt Baker comes out on top of getting Tony Storm versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World Title. And then we had the main event: Ricky Starks versus Jay White. Juice Robinson banned from ringside. FTR banned from ringside. Good match between these guys. There was a lot of good stuff between these guys. I feel like Jay White is slowly getting more accustomed with, himself, just his usual self as we know him. How this match ended was, there was a referee bump, and the Guns came running out of nowhere, Colton and Austin Gunn, and they laid out Ricky Starks, which allowed for Jay White to hit the Blade Runner and get the win. They jumped the barrier and ran away. So there was like no, they didn't wait around. There was no like pose together to show that they've kind of officially joined Bullet Club Gold, but it looks like that's the direction that they're going in. Personally, I don't mind it. I think it's a decent position for the Guns. They're not the best tag team in the world. They're somewhat serviceable. Where AEW, we talked in the last podcast last week about AEW losing its true like heart at times, I think. And tag team wrestling was something that was almost sold to us when AEW was being made. There was going to be something massive for AEW, which, yeah, things haven't really worked out like that in the current iteration of the product. The Guns, like I'm saying, are serviceable as a tag team. I don't think they're anywhere near some of the tag teams we see in AEW. But I really feel like this could be a good position for them. Jay White is assembling his own, Bullet Club Gold here. It'll be interesting to see next week, the kind of fallout from this particular match. But NK, how did you see it?
I'm not the biggest fan of the Guns. Obviously, the day they did the many men entrance, I became like I signed up a week free trial for the Guns fan club, but the subscription ended. But you know what? I wouldn't mind it if it's a thing of like, hey, Jay White, we know you're Jay White. We like Bullet Club. We love Bullet Club. We want to prove we're worthy rather than Jay White recruit them. So if it's a thing where they're like they help out Jay White without Jay White asking, and Jay White's like, oh, do you know what? You man have helped me out there. Come join the team. I'm happy with that. Rather than Jay White actively recruit these man. That because if it was Jay White saying, "Oh, Guns, I want," why? But if it's a thing where Guns are like, almost like young boys in the sense where it's like, okay, like you're the older. We wanna be under your tutelage. We wanna follow you around. So we're gonna make life easy for you by helping you win matches and so on and so forth. And then they just end up joining Bullet Club Gold that way. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. You know what? Somebody I've been particularly harsh on, but he's won me over. Juice Robinson. He's insane. He's a lunatic. He's won me over. Like when they won the match, when Jay White won the match, and Drew Robinson just comes in, just taunting Ricky Starks. I'm like, I can't lie. Yeah, he's won me over. Like he's the madman. He's the scrappy dude in the group. He's just like he just wants to fight everyone. Like
Juice is good fun. Like he is definitely good fun, and he's here for a good time and great character stuff. He's a great wrestler as well.
Yeah,
he's very, very good. I think the initial issues, like, I don't think anyone had an issue with AEW signing him or anything like that. It was when they brought him in, when they brought in Jay White, and where Juice was positioned, I guess, on the card or for all of our perceptions, when they then brought in Jay White. That was what the issue was. But like I was saying at the beginning, they're kind of finding their feet now. There's a bit of a rhythm being found. You can see like Jay White's ascending to whatever this is. He's ascending to the top of it, where Juice has kind of fallen in the back a bit, and he is taking up that position of scrappy do, like you say. So it's looking a lot better.
And I hope the Collision main event isn't a one-time thing, because I feel like pairing Jay White with CM Punk, obviously, if he was to feud like an FTR and CM Punk, he's gonna lose. But that would be an excellent. That would kind of forgive all of this for me. If I see okay, like post Collision, we see just a TV feud between Jay. I don't expect them to like go all the way to All In, but like a good like TV back and forth feud between CMFTR and Bullet Club Gold. I'm not mad at it. That's something I would enjoy. I would enjoy seeing, and obviously it would play to Jay White's strengths because CM Punk, we know he's gonna cut 15-minute promos. You're gonna get time. That's one thing with CM Punk. You're gonna get time. So seeing that announcement gave me a bit of hope. I was like, okay, so they've closed. I think this Ricky Starks chapter is now closed. Thank God. I think it's closed. And now if we move on to like CM Punk, I'm like, okay, now we're cooking. Now we've got something we can really sink our teeth into.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. Timing was an issue on bringing in Jay White. But this is how you would treat someone ideally. If this was, Jay White hadn't come in a month or 2 months ago, whatever it's been, and Jay White walked into Collision, like they signed Jay White, he's coming into Collision, and his debut feud is the return of CM Punk, the second coming. Exactly what we've been saying all along. This is how you treat somebody of the stature with the accolades of Jay White. So it's almost them rectifying what they've done and got people talking unnecessarily, because he should have been kind of brought in a bit more in a bit more of a prestigious way, I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do hope this is the end of Jay White, Ricky Starks. They turn their attention over to what's happening there on Collision, and yeah, like we're saying, start rectifying this guy, build another main event or build him back to that stage, because that's exactly what Jay White is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that was Dynamite. Like we're saying, a very good show. You know, we plan probably from next week, all roads, you know, will lead to Forbidden Door in terms of the booking of Dynamite for next week and the week after. So yeah, things are about to get very, very interesting in there, and see when Kenny Omega returns to Dynamite and who he returns with, if he's going to be returning with somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited. It's my favorite time of the year, man. Forbidden Doors, my favorite season of the year, man. Just because I know I'll get once in a lifetime matches that have one of them's already been announced. So more matches.
More matches. Yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. Thanks for joining us, everyone that joined us live. Please make sure you've hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you're new to Rest Things. Indie Takers is on the channel as well. Del goes through everything about Dominion, why he hates Ring of Honor. So check that out if you're someone that's checking out other kind of indie wrestling as well. The podcast will be out tomorrow, the weekly podcast as well. So obviously you can check that out as well. And we will be back same time next week. See you later, guys.